The summer of 2012 started out with a bang, and it had many people concerned that we were heading toward another summer of the gun. Some very public shootings, including one in June at the Eaton Centre and another the following month at a Danzig Avenue housing complex in Scarborough, prompted the province to immediately renew its commitment to the Toronto Anti-Violence Intervention Strategy. It also prompted Toronto Police Chief Bill Blair to flood city streets with hundreds of extra officers, many of them working untold hours of overtime to fulfill that commitment. The decision seems to have virtually stopped the bullets flying, though, overnight. The last half of the summer has been relatively quiet in Toronto. Now, with the summer winding down, I decided to don a police vest and take a ride with Sergeant Mark Hayward and his Tavis Rapid Response Team and spend a Saturday night finding out exactly what it is they've been doing that's been so effective in reducing the gunplay and making our city a safer place to live and work. The night begins with an adrenaline-filled hunt for a suspected drug dealer who may be armed with a gun. After staging outside 54 Division and coming up with a plan to catch the man who has eluded them twice before, the team swarms the Dawes Road high-rise, hoping the third time will be the charm. Unfortunately, the suspect is nowhere to be found, and the team must switch gears. After chatting with area residents and giving a young boy a new bike helmet, they head out onto the street in the city's East End in search of bad guys. The team does what it can to build relationships with citizens, but for the most part, they leave the outreach work to other officers. Tavis RRT, which Hayward describes as the point of the stick, focuses on preventing violent crime and public safety. On this night, they cruise through housing complexes such as Parma Court, Wakanda Place, Crescent Town, Gamble Avenue, and Flemington Park. Just showing their colors, Hayward tells me, is often enough to keep the troublemakers at bay and on their best behavior.
It's a statistical fact ever since Tavis has been around. When we're in a division, very rarely does a violent incident happen.
Word spreads quickly that you're there. And
the word gets out, and we've had evidence of that as well from intelligence information and community feedback. That's something that has to be considered too.
With no radio calls to bog them down, the team is able to keep a watchful eye over a large area of the city at any one time, stopping pedestrians and vehicles when they see something suspicious. Although their focus is on anti-violence, the team manages to seize a lot of drugs and firearms. They also won't hesitate to pull over a suspected drunk driver. So far this year, Tavis RRT has made 952 arrests for an assortment of offenses.
The reality is a lot of this violence is tied to drug activity.
Right.
You know, turf wars, taking space off of each other to sell their drugs. So as a result of what we do in our quest to deal with these members of the gangs and the violent members of the community, we end up coming across a lot of drugs ourselves. It's not really our mandate to go and look for drugs. We have officers from drug squads that deal with that, but we do come across a lot of drugs. It's just sort of part of what we do.
Tavis officers have been taking guns and drugs off the street all summer, and they've put a serious dent in the violence that had been plaguing our city. On this Saturday night, while it was relatively peaceful, the officers, Sergeant Hayward and his 10-member team, still managed to make 9 arrests in East York's 54 Division over their 8-hour shift. They managed to arrest 2 men for being out on bail and breaching their curfews. They arrested 3 young men after stopping a car and allegedly finding drugs and scales. They also managed to track down 4 young girls on a TTC bus who had allegedly assaulted and robbed some boys of their iPhones. One of those girls, interestingly, was only 12 years old. For the Toronto Sun, I'm Chris Doucette.
Can't do it all, but we try. But at the end of the day, we're trying to get the guns. We're trying to get the bad guys.